All right, we're breaking in here because we have breaking news out of Washington State, where a former school security officer is believed to be on the run after allegedly killing his ex-wife and girlfriend and then kidnapping his son.
Elias Huizar was scheduled to appear in court yesterday on separate rape charges, but did not show up. Police later found his 17-year-old girlfriend shot in their home and their 1-year-old son missing. Officials say he also went to the school where his ex-wife worked as a teacher and fatally shot her also.
Now, police believe Huizar is trying to escape to Mexico. West Richland police are holding a press conference right now on the urgent manhunt. So let's listen in.
My name is Brent Gary. I'm the mayor and CEO of the city of West Richland. And today it's with heavy hearts that we're gathered to address the tragic incident that occurred yesterday at Wiley Elementary School in West Richland. I'd like to introduce West Richland Police Chief Thomas Grego. Also joined with me today is Dr. Shelley Redinger, Superintendent of the Richland School District. We have Eric Huizar, the Benton County Prosecuting Office Attorney. We have Lieutenant Wilson from the Washington State Patrol. We also have the FBI Supervisory Senior Resident Agent, Peter Orr, with us this afternoon. So I'll give you a little format of today's press conference. We're going to go ahead and start with Chief Grego. We'll go to Eric Huizar, and then Superintendent Dr. Shelley Redinger. And then we will bring Eric Huizar back to the podium to field questions and direct them appropriately. So with that, Chief Grego.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry to report the tragedy that unfolded in our West Richland community yesterday. I'd like to begin by extending my thoughts and prayers to the victims and families and friends, and to report that the West Richland Police Department is utilizing every available resource to locate the suspect, Elias Huizar. Yesterday, April 22nd, 2024, at approximately 3:23 p.m., the West Richland Police Department responded to a shooting on the grounds of Wiley Elementary School in West Richland. One adult female was pronounced deceased at the scene outside of the school. The victim of the shooting was a 31-year-old Amber Ann Rodriguez, who was the suspect's ex-wife. Later in the evening, while serving a search warrant at a nearby residence of the suspect, the West Richland Police Department detectives and our partner agencies discovered a second crime scene. A second homicide victim was found inside the residence. No information about the second victim's identity is being released at this time, as it is still an active investigation. At approximately 9:45 p.m., the Washington State Patrol, on behalf of the West Richland Police Department, issued an Amber Alert for a 1-year-old Roman Santos and a silver 2009 Toyota Corolla. It is believed that the 1-year-old was kidnapped by the suspect. The Amber Alert was extended from Washington to Oregon, as well as additional locations on the West Coast. We are making progress in locating the suspect and will continue our efforts until he is located. The West Richland Police Department would like to thank our regional partnership, including the Kendall Police Department, the Richland Police Department, Pasco Police Department, Prosser Police Department, the Benton County Sheriff's Department, the Franklin County Sheriff's Department, Washington State Patrol, Benton Fire District 4, Benton Fire District 1, the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, Fish and Wildlife, and others for their work on this case. We are grateful for their assistance. I'd like to give the public every assurance that the West Richland Police Department will continue to prioritize this matter with all of our available resources for the benefit of our crime victims, those affected by this tragedy, and our community at large. At this time, I'd like to ask Eric Huizar to come forward, the Benton County Prosecutor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Grego. My name is Eric Huizar. I am the Benton County Prosecuting Attorney. Last night, a nationwide arrest warrant was issued for Elias Huizar. Mr. Huizar is charged by criminal information with first-degree premeditated murder of his ex-wife, Amber Rodriguez. The charge of murder includes an aggravated circumstance allegation of domestic violence and a firearm enhancement. At the time of the murder, Mr. Huizar was out on conditions of release on 2 pending felony matters for rape of a child in the 3rd degree and rape in the second degree. The total bail on those two matters was $250,000. It is important for the public to understand that this matter is still under active law enforcement investigation, and local, state, and federal law enforcement agents are working diligently to address this matter. The Benton County Prosecutor's Office is working with our community partners to provide resources to those who have been affected within our community. And I anticipate that as this investigation continues, that additional criminal charges will likely be filed in this matter. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Dr. Reagan.
There are no words to express how deeply saddened we are by the targeted domestic violence incidents that took place yesterday at William Wiley Elementary, as well as in the surrounding neighborhood that resulted in the death of one of our staff members and another individual. This is a tragedy no community should have to experience. We want to start by acknowledging the bravery we saw yesterday. Our students, staff members, and families showed an incredible amount of courage and strength when faced with immense fear and grief. We want to thank our local, state, and federal law enforcement for the incredible job they've done protecting our community. We are grateful to all of our community partners and community members who stepped in to help yesterday as well as today and plan to help us tomorrow. We'd like to say a special thank you to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who provided a safe place for our Wiley families to reunite with their children. Please know that our schools are a safe place for your children to learn. We have highly trained administrators and school staff whose top priority is keeping your children safe. Lockdown drills are one of the ways that we ensure safety. We are grateful that we have the training and we're able to utilize and follow procedures when rare incidents such as this occur. We have additional community resources for support that can be found on our Crisis Resources website at rsd.edu crisis resources.
Are there any questions? Mr. Kroger.
What about Elias's 5-year-old son? Is he okay?
This matter is still under investigation, so unfortunately I'm unable to provide a lot of additional details or answer that question.
Any idea who was shot first, whether it was William Wiley shooting or the shooting at Highlands?
Again, we're still actively investigating the case. It's my understanding that search warrants are still being executed at this point. So in terms of creating a definitive timeline, that is still a work in progress, and we should know more in the future.
Is the 1-year-old, that's his son, right? The 1-year-old he's with?
That is correct.
Okay. And it's his son with his girlfriend, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And why do you guys believe he's in New Mexico?
In these types of situations, it's important to be careful when we are looking for the whereabouts of a suspect. And so this is, again, a very active investigation, and we are still working on identifying leads and following those leads. There are multiple law enforcement agencies that are involved in investigating this matter. And so there's a lot of effort being put into locating Mr. Huizar's whereabouts.
Why was yesterday's court appearance canceled?
I'm not familiar with that.
It was my understanding that he was meant to be in court yesterday following the cases that you had mentioned, and that when we were looking on Odyssey, it said it had been not skipped, but I forget the word there, but stricken. Thank you.
Okay. I don't have specific information about that. Okay. So that's something that we could track down and find.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What kind of resources is your office providing the community right now, the prosecutor's office? Because we don't want to see something like this happen again, these domestic violence cases.
Absolutely. So my victim witness supervisor joined up with SARC and the chaplaincy to meet with staff from Wiley Elementary earlier this morning. And we are going to continue to work with Richland School District to provide resources and support for those who are affected by this matter.
And then, can maybe somebody from the school district talk about some of the, like how did he get on campus in the first place? How that situation all kind of, I mean, he just came on, or?
So I can turn this over to Dr. Redinger if you'd like to ask.
Sure.
The district.
So we just recently sent out a timeline to all of our families, and we'll be putting that out for all of the community to see the timeline of his employment with the Richland School District and other information regarding that. So during dismissal, we have staff out with students and parents. We have a lot of parents that come and pick up their students. He was behind a kind of a portable area and knew that she would be out there apparently, and then shot her there. Yes, and so quickly staff, it was definitely a targeted, and then we quickly got staff. Staff acted very quickly and got everybody back inside. Yes. And then we did a lockdown.
What time is dismissal?
Right around, like 3:15, 3:10. And it's dismissals at our elementary schools. It take a while because we do the walkers, the buses, but we have a lot of, fortunately, we always have, and I'm very proud of our staffs for this, a lot of staff outside during dismissals.
And what resources will be offered to students and staff in the wake of this?
Yes, very good question. So the outreach from the community has been amazing, from all Kennewick, Pasco, Richland. We have therapy dogs. We had supports for all of our schools as well, and so we have flight teams that are made up of counselors and nurses, psychologists, and we have them active at all of our schools, because we know this isn't just affecting Wiley, it's affecting our entire Richland School District family. So we do have resources. Today we opened up the district office, and we had counselors from all across the entire region. We did have quite a few families and students come, and we did have therapy dogs there, and our entire Wiley staff met together, and we debriefed, and I just can't say enough about this counseling support and ongoing support. The local mental health agencies are making room to make sure that they can help any Wiley students and families as a top priority.
Can you talk about the communication this morning? I was talking with a Richland mother who has a young child in elementary school, not at Wiley, but she was upset that she wasn't getting communications from the school on whether school was open or not open for other schools as well. Can you talk about that?
Sure, yes. So we do have a tool, Parent Square, that we utilize. We went to the school because it is very fast. Like when we want to send a text to all of our families or an email, it's immediate. Our old systems would take about 5 to 10 minutes. So that went out on Parent Square. And so the only school that was canceled was Wiley. We did have other schools that went into lockdown, and we made sure parents came and picked them up. It's always better to be really careful when you don't know for sure what it is going on, and so we took the utmost precautionary terms, and we made sure that we locked down other schools as well. So all of the information that we've been sending out internally to parents, now we're going to be sending that out to the whole community. So the whole community knows the steps that we're taking.
That's an app on your phone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can somebody talk about, we're not dealing with a regular suspect. This is a former officer. He's trained. How worried are you guys?
As I said, multiple agencies are involved in this investigation, so significant resources are being put at this man hunt for Mr. Huizar. Obviously, we are concerned based on the recent events that occurred at Riley Elementary yesterday, and as a result, we are making every effort to apprehend him as soon as possible.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So is there an SLA for the arrival of officers when a scene like this happens?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
An SLA, like service of a level of agreement as respond for a situation like this? My kids go to school there, and I have never seen a resource officer on site since the years my kids been going to school. is there any plan in place for future resource officers to be on site at Wiley Elementary in particular?
I think Dr. Reddinger can speak to that.
So right now, what we have, and it's been, both police departments have had a hard time hiring police officers. So we do have a long-term plan in place as officers are available. So we do have a full-time SRO at Hanford and one at Richland. Those are Richland PD.
Yep.
And then we have 3 security guards in addition at both of those schools. We have full-time security guards at all of our middle schools. And then in Westford, and then the SROs at Richland and Hanford also will come for calls, and they, during the day, will go in and look at their area that they have in terms of this Richland. West Richland, we have a partnership, which I'm very proud of, where we have a full-time SRO at both. He goes back and forth between Libby and Enterprise. And then we have a full-time security guard at Enterprise and full-time security guard at Libby. All of them help out in terms of the elementaries. So they will go around and help out when we have situations.
I would like to see more of a balance there because my kid's been going there for some time already, and it's definitely devastating not seeing so much officers on site. And I will want to say thank you guys all for your guys' support. I really enjoy living in this community. I continue to be in this community, and I really appreciate all your guys' hard work and effort. I know this is none of your guys' fault. However, I do want to pay my respects to your guys' authority and work ethics behind this process. But I would like for my kids to be a little bit more safer. We've even considered homeschooling because of this. But nonetheless, this is the reason why I'm here, to sit here and listen to your guys' future changes.
Any other questions?
Yesterday, neighbors told us that there was a long history at the house. Can PD give us more info about that?
Obviously, I indicated there are 2 pending charges regarding Mr. Huizar. Beyond that, I'm not able to provide any other details at this time, and don't have other information to provide. So I think it was a hand in the back. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to know how Manhunt became employed by Richland for this work, what the history of it has.
So the question was about the employment. So we did send out to all of our families a very lengthy timeline at the very beginning. And we did our due diligence. It's airtight, but I want to read one comment about this. All of his background checks came back positive. His reference checks were positive from another school district, and there were no red flags when he was hired. However, on February 14th, 2024, we received notice of Mr. Huizar's arrest and loading of the allegations against him. We immediately removed him from being able to work or volunteer. At the time, his last day of substitute teaching for us was June 14th, 2023. So all this year, he has not been employed with the school system. I do want to make one comment. We are extremely disheartened that information about his past was not disclosed to us through the various processes we have in place to vet RSD candidates for employment. It is the expectation for individuals who apply for employment with the Richland School District to be forthcoming and truthful in their applications. No past investigations or allegations appeared in Mr. Huizar's background.
All right, Michael, we know that there's one adult deceased outside of the elementary school, the 31-year-old ex-wife. We know there's a second crime scene that they learned there was someone else who's deceased. He has allegedly kidnapped his 1-year-old son. There's an Amber Alert out, nationwide warrant. Really a horrible, tragic circumstance.
Yeah, I think if you want to look at the good news, the officers out there, the folks at the West Richland Police say they are working with a lot of other agencies, and he listed off maybe 5 or 6 agencies. They have a lot of help, and he said they're making progress in finding him. Now, you don't want to be too optimistic, but generally, when they say they're making progress, they are, in fact, maybe on his trail. Very difficult. You have a 1-year-old child with you, and they know the car he's in. It's a 2009 Toyota Corolla. With all that information, I would think, and all the different things that we know, surveillance cameras, et cetera, I suspect it won't be too long before they catch this.
I agree with you. And again, just a reminder to all viewers, if you see a car that matches this description, you call 911. You don't chase them, you don't follow them, you don't do any of those things, but you certainly contact law enforcement immediately.